I married a German in Germany. Here are 6 differences between USA weddings versus German weddings. So let me just preface by saying welcome to my channel. My name is Zoie-Marie. I talk about lifestyle, Germany, beauty, all of the things, and today's video we're going to be talking about some differences between USA weddings versus German weddings. I always have to add a disclaimer in these videos because a lot of people get offended, they get testy whenever I do these comparisons, but these are based on my opinions and how I perceive things, and so please don't take it personally. Let me also start by saying I have been living in Germany for about 8 years now. I've also known my partner for roughly 8 years. We've been together for a very long time. He is German. I'm originally born in New York. I am a Jamaican American and now residing in Berlin. We recently also just got married. We did our civil wedding. We did also our big wedding in Athens, Greece. I will link those videos for you guys in the top cards just so you can catch up. But yes, we are recently freshly married, and I felt like this video was really important and fun to get into so you guys can kind of see the differences between the weddings and kind of like the vibes of the different weddings. So I'm really excited to jump into this video, and I hope you guys are too. Get comfortable, get cozy, get your fingers ready, because I'm also really interested to hear your feedback on if you think these are valid, if you've encountered these things or not. So really interested to see that. Before we actually do jump into this video, let me quickly introduce you guys to the sponsor of this video. Have you ever been stuck in a conversation where you don't speak the same language and you just wish for a magic button to fix it? Well, today we're testing out something that feels like actual magic, the Timekettle WT2 Edge. This little device might just be the ultimate solution for breaking language barriers. This is more than just a translator. It's wearable, hands-free, and seriously accurate. Perfect for anyone with an international family like me, frequent travelers, or anyone who loves connecting across cultures. Okay, first up, simul mode. This is genius. You can speak continuously and it translates instantly for the other person without stopping the flow of conversation. What's the weirdest thing you've eaten in Germany?
Gute Frage, lass mich kurz überlegen. Ich denke Schweinshaxe. Sieht tatsächlich sehr komisch aus, aber schmeckt sehr lecker.
Really? What does it taste like? It's cool.
Es schmeckt ein bisschen wie, es ist schwer zu erklären, es ist fettig, fleischig und die Beilagen sind meistens sehr lecker.
Okay, cool.
Egal wohin du gehst, du trägst sie in dir und sie trägt dich. Sie sieht und hört.
So for expats or travelers, I feel like this is the perfect must-have, and now we can finally communicate with your grandma.
Ja, ist tatsächlich erstaunlich. Man kann sich unabhängig der Sprache einfach auf das Gespräch konzentrieren.
Exactly. So if you guys are ready to elevate your communication with loved ones and international family, or if you're just traveling, definitely check out the Timekettle WT2 Edge. This is a groundbreaking device.
Die übersetzt immer noch.
Let's just jump right into this video. We're gonna start with number 1. I brought this up in another one of my Germany comparison videos, and I think it really fits well here. While this is not technically with the whole wedding vibe, it is about, you know, being engaged, being married in Germany. So this is one of the first differences that I have seen, is just the rings and the engagement part of getting married. I find here in Germany, as I said, I mentioned this in my other video, definitely check it out, but they value, it seems, more the marriage itself and not the show of marriage. So in that video that I made before with my husband, we were talking about the ring sizes in Germany compared to the USA. What I have noticed, and it is a culture shock for me, especially now because we are engaged, he is my fiancé, and yeah, we're getting married pretty soon. But what I noticed in the very beginning of this engagement journey is the differences between American engagement rings versus German engagement rings. And this is not to be crazy. This is just something that I've seen. But yeah, the difference and the culture shock that I've noticed is that with Americans specifically, weddings are a big deal. Rings are a huge deal. The women in America, their rings are just massive rocks on top of these women's fingers. I remember growing up and like all of my teachers in high school, all the women that I basically knew had these massive, gigantuan like diamond rings, and it was just always like sparkling in the eye. And then moving here to Germany, I noticed either they're just wearing their band, like there is no engagement ring, or if it is an engagement ring, it's just a really small rock compared to, you know, how they do it in America. And I don't know the reasons why. Maybe it's because it's just not a thing, but yeah, that's my observation. It was a shock for me because I was like, why is there even not two rings? Why is it just a band? Why is it so small? But what do you think about that?
I don't know a lot to say to that, but maybe let me think about it.
Is it because it's just like weddings are not taken as seriously, like weddings, not marriage, but weddings specifically?
I think it depends, but that is a big thing. You know, America is like higher, bigger, faster. Everyone wants to be better than the other person. That's how we see America. Everyone's trying to show off, impress, and maybe that's why in America you come in with those big rocks. And here in Germany, people just don't care too much about these things. They're more like...
And so why is it that some women, there is no engagement ring? They just wear the wedding band, like there's no ring.
That's no idea. I don't get either. Like, I like the thought of having an engagement ring.
Yeah.
I like it. It looks pretty. It looks prettier than the wedding band for a woman. Mm-hmm. So I think a lot of people are just not as romantic. They're just like, oh, let's get married. And then they get married and then that's about it. There's no real proposal. Like even proposal is not a big thing.
Yeah. Germans, I've noticed that they don't really care that much about the bling, the flash, everything like that. They really just care about loving that person and the act of marriage. So the ring size doesn't necessarily matter, while in America you have these gigantuan like cubic zirconian rings and huge like flashy things, and in the end it really doesn't mean a lot. Number two, which I've noticed, so this second one is going to be about wedding invitations, and I've been invited to some weddings in the States. My sister also went to a few weddings in the States, and the invitations that you would get for US weddings are very much like thought out. It has to be like themed. For example, my sister's friend, she got married in Italy, but she's American, her husband's also American, living in Manhattan, living that life. And her wedding invitation was a marble, like coaster type thing. And on this like marble plate was all the details of her wedding, also a barcode linking to actually how you can RSVP. It was actually a beautiful piece of work, and it's something that you would actually not throw away after this wedding. You would potentially hang this up in your house as a statement piece because it's absolutely so gorgeous. So just to give you an idea of how Americans would put effort into the actual invitation, I think from all the people that I know and also just how I grew up around learning about weddings, the invitation is just one piece of the whole experience, and it still needs to flow the exact same way of that experience. If you're going to have a really fancy nice wedding, or even a farm theme wedding, or I don't know what type of theme wedding, the invitations ties that all together and is a part of that piece. I feel like since coming to Germany and living in Germany, Germans really don't care too much about the paper, the invitations, the things that are on the table. They're sticking to this trend of this is not the main part of my wedding. Like this is not the wedding. The relationship that I have with my partner is the wedding and not everything else. So they don't necessarily care about all of this invitation etiquette or RSVP with this barcode, or here's this beautiful like invitation made out of like a t-shirt, or like, I don't know, a coaster, or made out of marble, for example. They don't necessarily care about that. The next thing that I want to compare is the ceremony traditions. And this was kind of like a big shocker for me. And I think some of my subscribers also was kind of like, girl, what are you doing? Like, I thought you were married. So let me rewind and give you the whole scenario. So in America, you have for example, a church wedding, right? You go to church, you get married, and then the couple kind of like drives off in a car. You kind of see like the little cans on the back of this nice car, and it's saying just married. And they're basically making their way to the second venue. And as well, the people, everybody at the church are also going to make their way to the reception, basically, not the second venue, the reception. But essentially that whole thing, that is the wedding day. There's no other day that people come to celebrate you. There's no other ceremony. It's really just this one day from church going off into the reception, and that's just that. Sometimes that can differentiate, like maybe they get married in a beachy location and then they go to the reception, but the point is that it's all happening in one day. In Germany, this really was like really confusing for me. It's called the civil wedding. It's basically where you go to legally sign the papers and then you're legally on paper married, but it's not the big celebration. And in Germany, they actually take that civil wedding day as a whole other event. So you have this legal wedding in the Rathaus, you sign the paperwork, and then afterwards you can either have like a mini wedding celebration or you can go to dinner, but it's still a celebration. You invite family, you invite friends, and that is taken as like your civil wedding. That is a celebration. On top of that, you do then have this bigger wedding, which is later on. It could be 3 months later, even a year later after that civil wedding celebration, and you still have that big wedding, very similar to how the Americans have that one standalone wedding day. This next difference I actually really respect from the German culture. I've been to a few weddings in Germany, and it is like a standard operating procedure that whoever attends this wedding, you literally donate, like you give something to this couple. May it be a money card or you like create something and there's like money on it. I have not seen not one person come empty-handed to a German wedding. It is just a standard operating procedure. Also for our wedding, some of Sven's family couldn't make it. They still were able to send something over, a card. It's not even just about the gifts, it's about as well acknowledging that these two people, someone that you love is getting married and you want to wish them well. But in America, I've seen at weddings, people literally come to this wedding empty-handed, not even a card. Just show up empty-handed and voila, I'm here. The next thing which I've noticed, again, it's like another standard operating procedure. The weddings that I've been to in Germany, there's a church bit and everything. The couple leaves the church, the maid of honor, they leave the church. There's another venue that's really close by the church and it's called a Sektempfang. And this is basically where you go to just cheers the couple. You have a Prosecco, everyone just stands around, kind of just like mingles. The couple mingles with everyone. And then from that Sektempfang, they move to the real venue. Before they even enter the venue for the Sektempfang, after the couple leaves the church, they normally stand at the door of the Sektempfang and they greet all of the guests coming from the church. They hug everyone, and this is like a really good way you can face-to-face see everyone before the party kicks off, before everything kicks off. You can greet everyone. In America, I have literally never seen this, and I really actually like this in Germany because, again, it's a really good way to greet all of the guests there. At the party, it's really hard for you to, like, you're kind of focused on making sure everybody else has a good time, but also just making sure the venue is okay, the food's okay. You're also just trying to have fun. You're not per se necessarily going to be interacting with every single guest. And I feel like this little section before you kick off the party is really critical and really nice as well, so that you can greet the bride and groom and the bride and groom can greet you before drinks are involved, before everyone blacks out, before they have to get into hosting mode. And it's a great way to kick off that whole event. In America, this doesn't really happen. It's kind of like you have the church wedding and then everyone drives to the reception and then the couple kind of makes their re-entry, like a big re-entry, but they don't necessarily greet everyone. It's just like, hey, we're back, like let's have a good time, let's go into dances, let's get into eating, and they don't necessarily get the chance to hug every single guest personally. The next thing that I want to talk about is something really minuscule, but I feel like you might not know about this. So the weddings that I've been to in Germany, right? May it be the civil, like legal signing of the paperwork or even the big actual wedding. So when they have their church wedding, for example, you know, in America, the bride walks in with her father, she goes to the altar and she meets her soon-to-be husband. She's standing at the altar, he's standing at the altar, the groomsmen are standing at the altar, and the bridesmaids are also standing at the altar, right? In Germany, they go to the altar and they sit, they don't stand. And when I saw this, why are we sitting? I've never seen anyone sit at the altar. And they also don't have like the bridesmaids and the groomsmen standing at the altar with you the whole time. They're kind of sitting in the front row. So you're basically just sitting in a chair in the front. I did not do that at my wedding. I did take some German things like greeting people, but I definitely did not want to sit at the altar. I'm sure for his side of the family, they're just like, ew, like they're standing, doesn't her feet hurt? The last thing I want to talk about when it comes to German weddings versus USA weddings, which I think is also kind of the biggest one that you might need to prep yourself for if you are marrying a German man, woman, whoever. The legal process, the actual application to get married is going to be difficult. If you're an American, if you're German, it's going to be difficult. It's a long-winded process. In America, I don't believe it's that hard to apply to get married or apply for that license. I feel like you can get it done actually rather quickly. In Germany, the bureaucracy, like if you guys have been following any German videos, you know the bureaucracy in Germany is just absolutely slow. It is very archaic. In our case, we applied right away as soon as we were engaged. It was really not that long, and first of all we had to fight for an appointment to get married. We had to wait, I think maybe 2 to 3 months to even find an appointment, like a date and time to get married. And then on top of that, I obviously had to show like my birth certificate when I applied to get married here in Germany, and so does Sven. Sven also had to show his birth certificate. But there was an issue with a lowercase and an uppercase on my birth certificate. Unfortunately, there is this one letter which is lowercase where I normally am spelling this uppercase, right? The German bureaucracy, they literally could have denied me this marriage license, could have denied me my marriage appointment because of the one uppercase letter. They then think that I am not truly who I am because of this uppercase lowercase letter. This is just like one example of how critical and how minute the German bureaucracy is. Like they're not here to play games. They're not here to play around, and they want to make sure you are who you are. And so I find that to be one of the main differences, like getting married here in Germany versus America, is that the bureaucracy, no matter if you're a German or an American in Germany, the process is going to be a little bit strenuous and a little bit long. We've reached the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know in the comment section if you've experienced any of these Germany versus USA wedding tradition differences. If you like these sort of Germany versus USA breakdown videos, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe. I hope you guys are staying safe, and I will see you in another video.